go with it, Tyler. So this is another left turn, but I really wanted to get your thoughts on renewable energy, right? So this is a general topic you already have talked about solar, but behind this whole decarbonization of the mobility ecosystem, assuming that we move towards whether it's electric propulsion systems, whether it's hydrogen or whatever, the effective generation, transportation, storage, and ability to deploy this technology renewably, so sustainably, right? That not utilizing coal as the backbone of our electrical grid is critical in actually making a difference, because a coal powered electric vehicle isn't a clean vehicle. So how do you think about, just in a general sense, how do you think about this world, and where do you see the biggest opportunities in the coming years for improvements in the renewable energy space?
Yeah, and I think it's an important point to emphasize. If we electrify but do not have zero carbon power generation resources, electrification for the purpose of decarbonization, won't make an impact at all. And one of the things we think about here right now in the U.S., transportation now accounts for the largest source of greenhouse gas emissions. It's greater than 30% of U.S. Emissions profile. Power generation has been going down for years and years because of the adoption of solar and wind technology, especially large-scale solar and wind plants. Our framework for how we think this will go, and we've published on this topic frequently, is we need to do two things. We need to power the world with renewable electricity, which will primarily be wind and solar, complemented by batteries and other forms of flexible zero carbon clean power. And I would bucket geothermal, nuclear, and hydro into that group as well. We think the mix will look something like 70 to 80% sun and wind, and then with a smattering of other things that can be flexible and map to demand. And then to your point, we need to electrify, and that's going to take a long time. Just to be blunt, we're still very early in the electrification journey. And even if we do move to something like hydrogen fuels for longer haul trucking, what producing hydrogen with zero emissions requires? It requires a shitload of energy, and so we need to have abundant solar and wind or nuclear or what have you in order to provide the energy input in order to create low carbon fuels or whatnot.
Yes, it's interesting. I think this is an area where you have some expertise or experience as well. Anything you'd add to that?
I think Tyler captured it very succinctly. As much as we want to think that we solve the problem by electrifying and removing diesel and gasoline vehicles, right? It actually comes to what is the source. And even something like hydrogen right now actually uses hydrocarbon in present day as the most efficient way to manufacture, if you would, hydrogen to be then spent to move a vehicle. So there's certainly a lot of work to do there. And I think a lot of that realization, if it is not already set in to those capital providers, it's going to come very soon. As to, we're looking here because it's the end point, but actually we need to go back to first principles, and we need to almost go down the supply chain of energy, if you would, and attack it from that approach.
And maybe just, if you don't mind me throwing a question in for Santosh, because this is something we think about a lot. The early adoption of solar and wind was not driven by environmental concerns broadly. It was an economic decision that corporations and power companies began to take because wind and solar simply became cheaper than other alternatives out there. So my question is just, as you work with fleet and logistics providers and whatnot through your network, what are the decision parameters that go into it for them? Is it purely an economic decision, or are other factors now coming into play more than you've seen in the past?
Yeah, that's a good question. Our general adage here is that no one is going to buy purely on environmental reasons, right? There has to be a fundamental business reason as to why they make a decision to purchase something from our portfolio or from whomever. So like we've seen companies around routing, right? Who tout like we make you more sustainable, but you bring it to a trucking fleet and they want to say, do you hit our operational SLAs? Can you account for these factors that right now our incumbent system or means of operation accounts for? And if it's yes, great. Okay, now talk to me about the sustainability benefits and orientation. That could be interesting, but it's not the other way around. And specifically around energy right now, we're in a period because of geopolitical conflict that energy prices are high. And apart from labor costs, fuel costs are the second, if not sometimes the top cost that a fleet grapples with. Large fleet are largely hedged. They're generally hedged for about 12 months. So we not really see the pain till early to mid next year. But this could be that moment where you see them accelerate certain parts of their network or their assets into some other type of fuel, or being able and willing to make that investment, that commitment to understand and research better, right? So in periods such as this, that's where you do build the economic case to say, hey, should we make the switch? Absolutely. But it won't be, Tyler, to your point, simply because it is more sustainable. Those pressures are there, but ultimately it has to come down to dollars.